guys, welcome back to another nail polish review. Before we get into it, I'm going to announce the winner of my giveaway. I did a giveaway on my transitional favorites video a couple weeks ago, and I picked a winner, and the winner is Luci Cash. So I'm going to insert your comment here so you can see it. If that is you, please comment down below and I will get in contact with you and send you your box of my favorite things. On Instagram, I did go through what I was giving away in the giveaway, and I'm going to add that to my highlights so you guys can see it, but they're products that I use all the time and polishes that I love and some other just fun things. That was really awesome. Thank you so much for all your nice comments. It was so fun to read through and see them and see why you're following me and why you're here. I just appreciate you being here. I just am so excited about having 10,000 subscribers, and maybe when I reach 20,000 I can do another fun giveaway like that. So thanks so much. I couldn't do this without you guys. Okay, so we're going to talk about the spring collection. It's really interesting. I like it. It's much better than last year's spring collection. All the polishes are a little bit washed out and muted and maybe murky. I don't know. They're all those things. I really love it because it's still springy, but it's a little bit different. I feel like a lot of these are kind of neutrals that you could wear also, like maybe for work. If you can't wear bright polishes at work, I feel like these would really work because they're just pretty neutral, even though they're pastel colors. I did find some to be close to other polishes that Essie has in their line. I have quite a few comparisons. Let me know if I'm doing too many comparisons, you guys. I feel like I've been doing a lot more just because I get asked so many questions about comparisons that I'm just adding more and more. But is it getting to be too much? Let me know in the comments down below. I don't want it to be too long and boring. I did feel like I needed to add these so you guys could really get an idea of what these colors were like, because I feel like they are a little bit different. I ordered this from Ulta. It's available there now. Beyond Polish should have it. So I would wait for Beyond Polish to get it. I will let you guys know when that becomes available on Beyond Polish's site. Okay, let's get right into it and stop talking. The first one is Sing Songbird Along. I love all the names for these. They're very springy and fun and cute. I really just like the theme overall. So this is a beautiful buttercream yellow, but it's a little bit different because it's definitely more muted and a little bit murkier. So it has a little bit of yellow, it has some green. I feel like it's a little grungy, and I also feel like it has some like brown in it. So it's really, really interesting. And with this polish, I feel like when you have it next to yellows, it's going to look a little bit more yellow. And when you have it next to greens, it looks kind of green. So it's really interesting. I do feel like it's going to be a little bit of a chameleon shade. I have to say, I think this is my favorite pale yellow because I feel like it's a little bit more of a mature pale yellow. Does that make sense? So I feel more comfortable wearing this because it's more neutral than like a bright buttercream yellow, even though I still like those, but I feel like I like this better. So this one's really, really cool, you guys. These all do have a very similar formula. It's kind of a curly formula, but it's very buildable and they were really nice to work with. So on most of my nails, I was able to get this opaque in 2 coats, which is kind of unbelievable for a yellow. There were some that I did need to do 3. It's kind of crazy, but you really have to float your brush with these if you really want to get that result. You might have to do 3 coats. It's just going to really depend on how you apply it, but floating that brush is really going to make it fully opaque in 2 coats. This is the one that I'm wearing on my fingers right now, and it's really beautiful. One thing I want to also say about these polishes, since they're all kind of murky, grungy, I feel like they're good right now, like as transitional polishes, like before we get into spring, and then in spring we can start wearing some brighter colors. So I think they're perfect for this time of year, and I'm excited to have them right now to wear. Okay, so let's get into the comparisons for this one. I have 3 sets of comparisons. I'm going to move through these quickly. So I compared it to Cacti on the Prize, and that one's along the same lines, and it's darker and a little bit more green. And then Navigate Her is more green and a little bit more bright, and then Cholato is quite a bit lighter and brighter. So there's those. And then the next set of comparisons, I figured you guys would want to see how it compared to Daily Grind, because that's kind of like a grungy beige with a touch of yellow. And that one's close, but it is just a little bit more beige. Compared to Busy Beeline, that one's more yellow, and then All Fun and Games is brighter and darker and more yellow. So I just wanted to give you kind of a full spectrum there. And then I thought people would ask me about these other ones, and so I put in OPI Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk. That's more of a white with a touch of yellow. Bunny Slope, same thing. That's also a white with a touch of yellow. People have already asked me if it's close to Artist Garden, and that one's brighter and darker and has more green. So they're not close at all. So those two are quite different. I love that green so much. I feel like this and Artist Garden from ORLY are just just going to be really good polishes. I just love them both. Okay, so obviously I liked this one. It's just so cool. And then we have Well Nested Energy, and this is kind of a muted, murky peach shade. It's a little bit of a nude shade, but it does have a tiny bit of brightness with that peach color in there. It's got a fantastic formula, really consistent with that other one. Like I said, you can get it opaque in 2 coats, but you might have to do 3 depending on how you apply it. But they really just did a fantastic job with their formula on these, and I was really, really impressed. I really like the softness of this shade. It's just really beautiful. Okay, comparisons. Luci Cash has a similar formula, and it's a touch darker. High Class Affair is pretty close to Luci Cash, just so you can see that there. And then Talk to the Sand, I thought people would ask me about that one, and it's lighter and brighter. It obviously has more white in it. Olive and June Cable Knit, and that one's pretty close. It's a little bit peachier. And then I have Stop It, I'm Blushing. That one's pretty close, probably the closest. And then OPI Nature Strong, A Clay in the Life is bright. That one's so good, you guys. It's got a great formula and it's really, really nice. So I feel like this one's kind of in between the ones that I compared it to. So it's like not as dark or not as light as the ones I had compared it to. So it's kind of somewhere in the middle. So I did like this one quite a bit. I do love peachier shades. I am kind of a sucker for them. So this one's really pretty too. The next one is Stretch Your Wings, and it's this beautiful, light, murky, washed out lavender shade. I'm a total sucker for lavender shades. They are some of my favorite to wear, and I love this one as well. This one does have a really fantastic formula as well. Like I said, it's pretty consistent with those others, so I'll let you see the live application here, but you're going to be able to get this opaque in 2 coats most of the time. I think I will love this color for this time of year, and I know you guys are going to be curious about what it compares to because Essie does have a lot of these lavender shades. A lot of them are a little bit darker and quite a bit brighter, but there are some that are kind of close. Okay, so I will say about this one seemed to have little teeny black specks in it. I don't know, it was so random. I think it was on my pinky in this one that you can see it in the picture. So maybe you want to go back and look if you didn't, but I can actually see them in here too. And in the yellow bottle, I could tell that too. I really feel like that's unintentional. I don't know if it has something to do with like the coloring or something, but I'll be curious if yours does too. They don't really bother me, but it's just kind of weird that they're in there. I don't know. I just find that so interesting. But let's get into those comparisons. So I compared it to It Pearl, and that one's more muted. I thought for sure this would be like exactly the same as that one. And then Go Go Geisha has more gray brown. Keeping It Will is more mauve. And then my second set, I've got You've Got Me Faded. That one's more purple, still a bit muted, yet it still has a little brightness to it. So those are pretty close. Baguette Me Not is bright and more purple, and then Saved by the Bell is more pink and brighter. Stretch Your Wings is lighter and more muted than these that you see here. And then my third set compared to Go Ginza, and that one's very, very close. I think that Stretch Your Wings is a tiny bit more muted and a little less purple, but they're pretty close. And then Olive and June Cockatoo is very close, and it has a sheer formula. It's maybe just a touch darker, and then Movie Buff is more of a bright pink, but it's also muted. So found that it was interesting that it was pretty close to Go Ginza, but it's not exactly the same. So I'll let you look at those and decide if you really want to pick this one up, but I did really like it in spite of that. I still really love it. And then we have Flight of Fantasy, and it's this beautiful, muted, dusty, murky blue. It's kind of like a robin egg blue that's really muted. I love the color tone of this one, and I think the color tone is kind of what sets it apart to other polishes, because there was one polish that was like super close to this. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but the formula on this one was really fantastic. Like I said, the formula is pretty consistent. So this is going to be opaque in 2 coats. I'll let you look at the application here. Here are the comparisons. Truth or Flare, I love that polish so much, you guys. They really need to bring one like that back. It has kind of a sheer formula, and that one is more blue. I love the color tone of that one. And then Maximilian Strasser is pretty close to that, you guys. It's maybe a touch more green, but they are very close. I do think the undertone of this one is more blue, and it's maybe a touch more brighter, but they're super close. And then the Bestest is more of a gray blue. And then I compared it to Essie Gel Couture Embellish Me, and that one's darker and more gray. And then OPI Destined to Be a Legend is more gray blue, and Alpaca My Bags is darker there. So I didn't do comparisons to more Essies because I wanted you to see that it is super close to Maximilian Strasser, but they are a little bit different. So if you love Maximilian Strasser, I feel like this is like the blue version of that one, but they are pretty close, which kind of surprised me, but I still like this one. This next one is Spring Awakening, and it's this nude peach pink shade. This one has beautiful formula too. It's going to go on nicely. I have in my notes here that I have like a really high ridge on one of my nails, and I definitely had to do 3 coats with this one, and it could just have been due to my application. So like I said, you might have to do 3 on some of these. I'm sounding like a broken record, but I love that they're super consistent throughout with their formulas on this one. They all go together very nicely. But man, Essie sure has a lot of colors like this, and they're all just a little bit different tone, and I think that's good. You can find the one that maybe goes best with your skin tone. I have medium skin tone, and hopefully when you look at these comparisons, you'll be able to see what you like, and maybe you have a lighter skin tone or darker or the same as mine, and you can kind of look and see which one you might like better. But I'm kind of guessing you have some like this color already. But let's talk about those. So Come Out to Clay is more peachy, Bear With Me is a little bit more brown, and the Snuggle is Real is more of a peach brown nude. As you can see, they are kind of close. And then the next comparison, I have Daydrift Away. That's one that's newly released from their Swoon and Lagoon collection. That one's a little more peach pink. And then Respond With a Kiss is from their Valentine's Day collection that they just barely released. I have a review of that one and the Swoon and the Lagoon collection, and that one's more of a red brown, and Less's Aura is more brown. And then I wanted you to see this one compared to Hopelessly Devoted to OPI and Dance With Me, and those are a little bit different as you can see, but those two compared to each other are pretty much almost exact. And then I'll have a Gin and Tectonic is more of kind of like a red brown, so those are a little bit different. So all of them are just slightly different, but I'm telling you they're going to be like super slight differences. Hopefully that's really helpful. And this next one is Keep Branching Out, and it's kind of this brown beige nude. It's opaque in 2 coats. It's got that great consistent formula. I don't wear these kind of brown beige nudes very often. I do have medium skin tone, and I don't know if that's why, just because I like a little bit more contrast, but I do like some that are a little bit lighter, and there are some that I compared this to that are lighter that I'm going to talk about. Compared it to Millennium Momentum from the Expressie line, and that one's lighter and less brown. And then Saint Tropez is a similar color, maybe a touch lighter. And then Coconuts Over OPI is almost exact. I compared it to Vine and Dandy, and that's more of a peach beige. And then Pale to the Chief is also a more beige and it has less brown. And then Samoan Sand is like a sheer beige. I mean, they're all slightly different, but I really don't reach for these type of colors very often, so I'm not like super excited about this one. Okay, to pick my favorites. When I first saw the collection, I love them all, but I honestly don't wear nudes very often, so I don't think I'm going to add any of those in my favorites. Plus, they've been coming out with a lot of peachy shades, so I think I would pick Daydrift Away out of all the ones that have come out recently. So I'm going to pick these 3, the ones that are more colored. So we've got Flight of Fantasy, Stretch Your Wings, and Sing Songbird Along. So the blue, the lavender, and the yellow, they are just so pretty. This yellow for sure is pretty unique. This maybe isn't super unique, and this is close to Maximilian Strasser, but I do think they're different enough that I want them. I'll let you guys decide if you want them, and hopefully those comparisons will help you to make that decision a little bit easier. I really like this collection. I thought it had a nice cohesive feel to it, and I love that they did something a little different but then kept it springy. So what are your thoughts on this collection? I do think you guys are really gonna like that these are all kind of neutral. I'm super excited about that one. So let me know if you do like it and if you're gonna pick any up. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing and commenting, and we will see you next time. Thanks guys. Bye.